We concluded tonight's class focusing on the mission, who we are, what we can accomplish, how much power we have, and just rewiring our brains to recognize our enormous strengths and move forward with joy. The Rebbe goes on to say, "Ubifrat b'mitzvah tefillah," and especially, the Rebbe says, prayer is a great time to do this. Litzok el havaya b'tzarla, to cry out to God in her pain. Megalusa, what's her pain? Because she's in exile. Why is she in exile? Begufi hamashukatz, because of my body and all of its issues. V'hotzia memiskar, to take her out of that stuckness, uladavka b'yisbarach, and to cling to God. So prayer is a great time to do this. You know, for a lot of us, we struggle to pray. I mean, we might just struggle to find the minutes or to say the words. I just saw a beautiful answer of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, where he said that before prayer, contemplate. For us, contemplation might last like 10 seconds, but contemplate who you're talking to. Just think about it. Maybe 10 seconds is too long, 5 seconds. Who you're going to now open your mouth and talk to. So I saw this recently. I've been trying to do it. It's impactful. Like it really is. You just stop and think. I mean, I talk to God all day long, but now it's like, real as he wants me to, with all these ritualized words. And I'm like, so don't space out on him. Imagine you got the private audience and you're spacing out. So prayer is a very special time. The Lord says it's a really good time to get into this space of, I want to free myself. And I have the tools. They're not, in a lot of these, like, it's a lot of sort of classical fiction, genre of the quest for whatever. And usually the quest is a lot of cryptic clues and you're searching wherever with all these adventures, whatever. And Judaism is not like that at all. It's all on the table. It's no Hobbit-like quest. It's no cryptic, half understood. It's all on the table. You want to connect to God? Here's how. Nowadays, on your phone, on a tablet, on your computer. Who needs books? I like it in books, but there's so many other ways. Any language you want, it's on the table what you can do to free yourself. And when you just have that focus, the Rebbe says, any step you take is valuable. Any little thing you're doing makes a tremendous difference. We, for sure, have no comprehension of the value of every little thing we do right, especially the little things that are really hard for us to do. And of course, we have no comprehension of the pain of every little thing we do wrong. They're both true. But we're very powerful people that can make such a difference for ourselves and for the world. The Lubavitcher Rebbe has this vision that one Jew can redeem the entire world. Like, it sounds like a little, one of us? I mean, maybe a few of us. One. Any one person, if they really put themselves into it and really work to make it happen within their own environment, the whole world follows. So that's our power. And I think that's a very strong message that Tanya is giving us. Exactly the opposite of the message our evil inclination gives us. Our evil inclination loves to tell us, you're overwhelmed, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so weak, I can't handle this, I'm drained, I'm exhausted. And the Alter Rebbe says, you are so powerful. You are so strong. You can do anything. You can free your soul. You can elevate God. You can transform worlds. So that's the Alter Rebbe's voice. That's the evil inclination's voice. And we can choose which road it seems to us the happier way to walk. And just to finish this off, so our sages say in Ethics of the Fathers, in Pirkei Avos, they have this phrase about 1 hour of repentance and good deeds in this world is more valuable than like the whole world to come. It's better. So what do they mean by repentance and good deeds? It's like sort of unusual linking them. So these are the good deeds, the godly deeds you do, to restore. Tshuva means return. So usually we think of tshuva, returning, as like, I blew it, and now I'm coming back to God. So it's usually in the context of, I'm doing something wrong and I'm repenting. Repentance, as the Rebbe has a very beautiful talk explaining, is not what the word tshuva means. Tshuva means return. So in this context, the Rebbe says, when the sages say tshuva, return, and good deeds, we're talking about the good deeds that return the soul. Return the soul where? The Rebbe says, Limikoira v'sharsha d'chol almin, to the source of all the worlds. That's your repentance, not repenting from wrong, but the return. The deeds you're going to do to return your soul higher than her origin, right? Look what the Rebbe just said. You're going to return your soul to the source of all worlds. So, little secret, my soul didn't come from the source of all worlds. Our souls emerged from a very high level of godliness, the highest level within this solar system. We'll call this like a little solar system in the galaxy. We have our 4 spiritual planets. So it's the highest level in the highest spiritual planet of this little solar system. You know, like imagine Earth with all the planets orbiting. It's like one little solar system in the galaxy. So this is like this solar system. But this is not the source of all worlds. That's far higher. And that's where my soul's going. So the Rebbe is saying, you're not just getting her out of the junk, getting her out of the garbage. You're not even just doing what we said before, getting her back to her father's house in her youth, like where she originated from. When you do this work, ooh, you go to places you can't imagine. You go to the source of all worlds. So when you think like that, it's like, wow. Instead of being like drained and done and can't move, it's like, whoa, you can be so energized because now you have a purpose. Now you have a goal. Now you remember how strong you are. And now you can keep moving and get there. So this mind shift can totally turn around your energy. Now, obviously, I said in a few minutes, a person could read through these lines and be like, I'm still very drained. Or I still think I'm that body with all of its issues and not that gorgeous soul buried underneath all my issues. And then you read it again, and you think about it again, and you think about it again. And some people will be like this. And sometimes we have to keep thinking the thoughts again to make new neurological patterns in our brain. We want to make new synapses, new thoughts, new thoughts, new thoughts. You know, if you walk the road of, I can't handle this, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so drained, those are really strong roads in our brain. So we have to maybe give these thoughts a few laps in our brain. We have to think them a number of times. Look how powerful I am because I'm a Jew. Not because I'm great and amazing, and because God put himself inside of me. Not just what's amazing godliness. God put himself, the core God energy. That's the secret inside every Jew. So however weak I feel, however much the messages I feel I'm getting from the world, my energy, my power is limitless. It's limitless. And I can do a lot with that. And I could start by freeing myself. And that's the message. Anyone want to comment on that?
I do.
Yeah, let's hear, Rachel.
So it is truly a mind shifting. Learning Tanya, I can tell you how taller I walk, especially since I moved here and I've been joining it almost on a regular basis, and I actually apply it, you know, to my life. But it is really a mind shifting. with every, with every lesson, you just go and practice it, and it's like all of a sudden you're almost like a new person. That's the one thing I want to say. The second thing is about us not being this body. I watch a lot of when people have any accident or something on Hidabrut, it's an Israeli.
Out-of-body experiences.
Yes. So this woman had an accident, and she sees from above, how everybody is crying, and ambulances and all that. And she's looking and she's saying, why are they so sad? I'm here. I mean, I'm not that. It felt like what is it, like a clipot, like nothing. She said, I'm here. She was seeing this light and everything. And I heard it again and again. So many stories like this. And then, of course, they become Baalei Teshuva, and they become frum, and they change their whole life after such an experience. But when so many people said the same thing, we are not that. We're not that body. We are the neshama. So it is so true what you were saying earlier.
That's actually a great reference point, because there are so many, I guess you call them documented, so many people that have gone through those experiences and then afterwards say very, very similarly what they felt. So that's actually really great reference. It really is. That's very strong for anybody that's like Carl said, who's read it, who's heard it. Some people have these really long, intense stories. If you've seen them, YouTube, heard, and that's a great reference point. Thank you. That's really good. Anyone else? Any other thoughts about this, what we were just saying? Karma said she was happy we were talking about joy. So yeah, me too. Anyone else? So the Rebbe from this week, just brought one idea from the top. This Friday is Rosh Chodesh Menachem Av, the first of the month of Av. It is actually the date of the only yahrzeit recorded in Torah. Meaning some people's yahrzeits we know they were in Talmud, in the Midrash, but the only one literally written in the 5 books is Aharon. The high priest Aharon, he passed away on the first day of Menachem Av, this Friday, which was also Friday when the Rebbe gave this talk in 1991. So the Rebbe speaks a lot about Aharon and about the idea of love. Aharon's love for every Jew, love, Avas Yisrael, Achdus Yisrael, Jewish love, Jewish brotherhood, Jewish unity. And the Rebbe, of course, connects it to the time we're in, which is already, Friday's already the first day of the 9 days. The 9 days are coming up. So we have the 3 weeks, we have the 9 days, we have a time when we think about the destruction of the temple, and of course, to rebuild something far greater, the redemption. So for years, whenever the Rebbe would discuss these ideas, the Rebbe would always say that the temple was destroyed because of baseless hatred, and we need to rebuild it with baseless love. Meaning the first temple was destroyed for idolatry, adultery, and murder. And they were exiled for 70 years and mopped all that up. The second temple was destroyed for baseless hatred. We're still working on it 1900 years later. So it was always that, wow, what's baseless hatred? So the fifth Lubavitch Rebbe explains that baseless hatred means I hate you, and then afterwards I'll figure out why. I hate you merely because of your existence. You live, you take up space. Your space lessens my space. So I don't like you because you're shrinking me, and then I'll create some reason in my head. That's baseless hatred. And we combat that by baseless love. I love you. Why? I don't have to know why. I love you. Afterwards, I can figure out why. So for years, we are going to uproot the baseless hatred with baseless love. In 1991, the Shabbos in 1991, the Rebbe said, we're done with that. We no longer need to have baseless love to remove the baseless hatred. We finished that work completely. We're on the edge of redemption. This is, of course, talking about Aaron, the high priest, such love for every Jew. So we have to have that love, but not to get rid of the cause of exile. We're past that. That's done. So why should we have such love? To live Mashiach. That's what we're all going to experience by Mashiach, to taste it, to live it, to be there, have that love. As sort of like Sarah said, like, you know, she's internalizing more and more this need for Mashiach. So each time as we hear these words, we can internalize this message of like, we took care of the junk of exile. Now we're marching toward redemption, and we want to have such love because that's what redemption feels like. So it should happen. It's happened now as we're entering the 9 days. That's perfect timing. It's a time of year when we think about destruction, which means we think about rebuilding. The only reason God was allowed to destroy was to build something far better. And that's why these days are going to be the greatest holidays. Some say Shavasar B'Tammuz is going to begin the holiday. The 9th of Av is going to conclude, and all the days in the middle will be like Chol Hamoed. So these are days of celebration, of rebuilding. And it's great days to focus on love, because that's what we're going to all be like. Thank you.